Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. It is Six Nations times, and it will kick off tomorrow night when France take on Wales. And France, very much the odds-on favourites for the tournament. But the question is, can they do it with the amount of injuries they've been hit with? Can Ireland, without Andy Farrell, go 3 in a row? Or could we see the dark horses in the likes of England or Scotland maybe sort of rise above through the chaos to try and grab an unlikely Six Nations tournament? The wooden spoon race, Wales, Italy, that's your two top contenders. Who's going to get a pitch up this weekend? Who's going to pitch up the tournament? Lots and lots of questions to answer, really. And a very exciting tournament, I think, especially given the fact that we've got a British and Irish Lions tour coming up. And what we're going to be doing is actually going to be doing a British and Irish Lions kind of barometer after each Six Nations weekend, kind of looking at what the squad might look like, top players who are now putting themselves into the mix for British and Irish Lions selection as we build up towards that tour in the middle of the year. Before we get into some of the odds and look at the fixtures, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so we know that France is battling with quite a few injuries, but they've named a serious side for their clash this weekend against Wales tomorrow night. By the way, we'll be live for all three clashes: France versus Wales, Scotland versus Italy, and Ireland versus England. So it's non-stop action here on Fair Sports over the weekend. But so France gone big, remaining back, Antoine Dupont back at sort of that halfback. Actually, we haven't seen that in a while for the Six Nations. Obviously, no Dupont last year. But there are a couple of key injuries throughout that squad, and yet you look at the side they've been named, and so much power, even without the likes of Charles or Devon, for example, who's not available in the mix of quite a long injury list, which we'll go through tomorrow when we do our official preview. But let's have a look at the odds really and kind of look at exactly what the bookies are saying. So the bookies are saying that France are the odds-on favourites, and the best odds you can get on them is actually 7-4. After that is Ireland, and they're basically sitting at 2-1. A couple of the bookies are giving them 7-4, for example, as well. So in general, most bookies backing France more than Ireland, but not by much. And I'll look at exactly why I think it's going to be Ireland rather than France, even without Andy Farrell, because I think the fixtures just suit them. England are being back to come third. They technically are, I suppose, the dark horses. I do think that Scotland is being a little bit underestimated by the bookies. But the biggest problem with Scotland is you never know what to expect from them. One day they'll go toe-to-toe with France and can even beat them. The other day they can probably be beaten by the likes of Italy or Wales because they can be very inconsistent. I do think that's a very good Scottish side, but it's whatever Scottish side rocks up on the day. No Tupiloto, I think, is a huge loss for them in the Six Nations and a massive loss for the British and Irish Lions tour, to be perfectly honest. But England have definitely been getting better. They've been definitely progressing, and it's a good side being named this weekend. I do think they're going to struggle with the lineouts, given the fact that they've got both Curry starting, for example, not a lot of height. And I think Ireland will target the Lions as a set piece. And then you got Wales versus Italy. I think Wales, it's not a bad squad. No Fatal this weekend, which is a big loss, but it's not a bad squad. And I think Warren Gatland will basically look to press the reset button and really try and get this Wales side something going. Jack Morgan's back at captain. There are some nice players. Liam Williams back, for example. So there is quality in that Wales side. The question is, can they start coming together as a team? And Italy, again, you kind of don't really know what to expect from them. They're a side that should probably beat Wales, but I maybe don't expect them to. If that makes any sense. And again, we saw some brilliant. I mean, this last season was probably their best Six Nations ever. Will they go up from that, or will they potentially maybe even struggle a little bit? So they're not being backed to come anywhere near Six Nations. In fact, almost being given half as good odds by the bookies in terms of actually winning the Six Nations. Where they'll finish above Wales, well, we have to wait and see. But if we look at the fixtures, which we'll do in just a second, very interesting to see how France copes, because they're having to go away a lot. And that is for me why I think that Ireland are, for me, the odds-on favourites, and I think will potentially win it. So, like this weekend, for example, France have got Wales at home. That's not an away game they would have struggled with. Scotland hosting Italy, again, not a team that would have hosted. Ireland hosting England is a big boost for Ireland. I do think in the first game of the Six Nations, it's very important to start well. I think England have picked a decent side. We haven't actually seen the Irish side just yet. But obviously, no Andy Farrell's going to be a big thing. Rumours about Sam Prendergast starting this weekend, which will be interesting. So if Ireland win this weekend, I think that puts them, obviously in the really good space to try to win the Six Nations. I mean, I expect to see France, Scotland get through pretty easily. But this will be the first sort of big kind of result of intent if Ireland can get that result. Then next weekend, England taking on France. Now, France having to go away to England. This is the potential for France to be a bit of a banana skin. Ireland go away to Scotland. Maybe Scotland give them a game, but I think this potentially the Six Nations could be decided as early as next weekend. In terms of if England were to get a result against France after Ireland get a result against England, or if England were to get a result against Ireland and then go and beat France, and all of a sudden England put themselves in the mix. But what's really nice about this sort of the Six Nations is the last weekend they've got a nice clash, but it's this week 4 or 5 that's going to be the big one. England versus Scotland, the Cup's always going to be a cool game. Italy versus France over there. France having to go away to Italy is not going to really do much for them, and I think Ireland's away to Wales is not going to do much here. But it's this weekend, Ireland versus France, the 8th of March, and again it's in Ireland, and I think that game is probably why I think Ireland, will probably win the Six Nations. Scotland hosting Wales then, England versus Italy. I mean, Scotland, I don't think have got horrendous fixtures until, they're having to go away. They've got Ireland at home. It's the fact that they have to go away to France and they have to go away to England. But going away to England, I don't think will actually worry them too much. They beat them in Twickenham before. They'll back themselves to get a result. It's probably this game right at the end where they might struggle. I'll see. Actually, can't even see it. Hang on, give me 2 seconds. There we go. France versus Scotland right at the bottom there. I think that's the game that will derail any sort of, if Scotland are in the running, that kind of game could pretty much derail that. The nice thing with Scotland though is I expect them to beat Italy, and then they're going to go try and beat Ireland. If they're going to beat Ireland, for example, then they'll back themselves to try and get England. But again, I think the way the Scotland fixtures are, I don't think they'll be contenders necessarily, but I don't think they'll be too minor to the fixtures. I think a good finish for them would be third, isn't it? And that usually comes down to the Scotland-England game. That's usually the one that determines that third place spot. So, yeah, I personally think, in terms of coaches, I think Fabian Galthie needs to take a big step forward with this French side. I don't think people rate them as maybe as high as they were at one stage if you go back a year ago. Now, for example, back with Dupont, a lot of people will be expecting a lot from them. But I think the big thing is for looking at the British Irish Lions side, you want to see individual performances, don't we? You want to see someone like Jack Morgan throwing his hand back into the mix, or hat back into the mix for British Irish Lions selection. With injuries like Tupolotu, are there other centre options, for example? A lot of Scottish players, we're looking to try and get themselves in that side, because obviously we expect to be very Ireland dominated, first of all, given the fact that Ireland's, one of the top sides in the world, and the top side in the British Irish Lions setup, but also obviously having Andy Farrell as the coach. So then the predictions. For my predictions, I'm going Ireland first, France second, England third, Scotland fourth, Wales fifth, and Italy sixth. Those are my predictions. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.